guys, welcome back to Footy Vlogs. We're back for another video. This time we are reviewing a few matches, previewing a few matches. We're reviewing last night's match between St Pat's and Shelbourne, the Dublin Derby, and we'll also be looking ahead to Shamrock Rovers match in Europe this coming Thursday against Molde, and of course then the Premier Division games over the weekend. Join me JP and Luke, lads, how are you?
Alright, lads, sorry.
So happy days. So yeah, we'll get cracking into it. A very eventful derby, Dublin Derby last night to say the least. 4-4 finish between Shelburne and St Pat's at Talca Park. Sean Boyd penalties on 13 and 52. Matty Smith, of course, I think Keith mentioned it last week in the previous show that, you know, obviously Matty Smith scored against Derry in the 4-0, you know, and he scored again against his club. He's on loan, you know, obviously with Shelburne at the minute, and he scored against Pats. And he scored in 27 minutes, and then JJ Lunny then scored on the 65th. For Pats, the goal scored by Barry Cotter with a great strike in 21. An own goal, just on the stroke of half time, and then two penalties in from one Doyle, 68 and 78. So it's a 4-4, very, very eventful match. I just caught the highlights of this one. Keith has a full review of it on the channel if you want to check it out. A few sending off in it too. There was also, I think it was your man Andrew Quinn, the Shelburne, one of the Shelburne coaches, was sent off, and Tim Clancy as well, as you know, and then Jamie Lennon obviously getting the second yellow card for a rash tackle just at the end of the match. It means he's out of the match on coming Friday. Yeah, overall thoughts, lads, is that's obviously a feisty enough affair, in the in the Dublin Derby. So I think it lived up to the expectation. Luke, we'll go with you for this one first.
Yeah, well, it was an interesting game, to say the least, to be honest. I think Pats are going to be disappointed with a lot of their play in the game. I think Shells as well will be disappointed with the fact that they've not come away with this game with 3 points. You know, they're 4-2 up in the game, and you know, you'd expect them to see it out really. And you know, they gave away 2 penalties, which they'll obviously be disappointed about. They just sort of shot themselves in the foot then really. But I think Pats as well, like, look, some of the goals they conceded will be very, very disappointing. I think the first goal, Brockbank he'll be disappointed with his clearance for the first goal. You know, it's a ball across, and it's just like, I think it's a lack of concentration. Like, you know, all he has to do is really, you know, just get it out and it's gone. Like, but he misses it altogether. And Boyd is left down with a chance against the keeper, and he puts it away, and which you probably expect a player with the caliber of Sean Boyd to do, like he's done all season for Shells. Look, overall in the game, I think Pats will be disappointed with just defensively. You know, you concede 4 goals. Obviously, Shells will be the same, but Pats themselves will have been going into that game. You know, they would have been confident over. They had a decent performance against Derry on the Friday. You know, they would have been confident that they could have taken a big opportunity to get into a automatic European spot if they had, you know, got a result there. But got a win, I mean, and look, they'll be disappointed with the manner they've conceded some of them goals, and you know, the penalty obviously as well. Brockbank gets caught wrong side of the Shells lad, and he does. It's a penalty, I think so. You know, he gets caught wrong side, and you know, when you're on that sort of, when you get caught wrong side, it usually ends up in being a penalty. You know. So look, it was obviously disappointing for Pat's point of view, but I think a point probably overall in the context of the game was probably fair, but it was a very entertaining game.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and JP obviously, Pats, you know, obviously 4 points behind Dundalk and in 4th place. You know, it would have been you could possibly say an opportunity missed. You know, had they you know, performed better in the game, where with Shells, you know, they're consolidated kind of middle of the table now. They're you know, 5 points off Sligo in 7th place, like, so you know, they're not gonna get Europe and whatever, like, so they're you know, their season's kind of just you know, a medium now, kind of, they're not going anywhere. Your overall thoughts on the match?
Aye, well, I was following the updates on this game, and when it went 4 each, when it went 4-2 to Shelburne, I still wasn't confident that the game was over, like, to be honest. From reading from what you guys were saying that were watching it, on the WhatsApp group and stuff. So whenever it went 4-3, I just had a feeling it was going to Pats were going to get something out of it. Look, they'll be disappointed because they've missed a huge opportunity to close the gap on Dundalk. And a few weeks ago, we was them 3 points that Dundalk were awarded. They're looking more and more ominous now. Like, and the Pats, it was probably kicking the teeth the Pats, and it probably still is. And they just look, they were on a 5-match winning run before Friday, and they did play well in the second half, and they were hit with a fantastic finish. But last night it wasn't just because it was a Dublin Derby. Whenever you take into account that everything that's gone before this fixture, the reason why it was called off and rearranged, and there was just a whole lot more riding on it than just being a Dublin Derby between two Dublin teams. Like, and I know these two teams going back over the years, they love to hit one another anyway. And I'm not quite sure that Shelbourne being in the first division for the majority of the last 15 years has probably taken a wee bit of spark off that and stuff like that. But I think it was written in the stars, like Matty Smith scored his first Derry goal against Pats, and he's done the same for Shelburne on loan from Derry. So, but it looked to be an entertaining game for the neutral anyway. For anybody that had was a stakeholder in it, probably wasn't good for the heartstrings.
Yeah, that's it. So that leaves every team played 31 matches. So it's basically just a basic run-in now for the remaining of the season. So there's plenty of more to happen. So yeah, no, we'll move on to the match on Thursday night in the Conference League between Molde and Shamrock Rovers. So obviously the two teams with just the 1 point. Obviously last time out in Tala, Shamrock Rovers picked up the point with against Molde. So yeah, no, what I can remember from watching that match, it was fairly even. But I think I think what we were kind of getting was that Shamrock Rovers they probably should have had probably won the match. I think what I can remember, they had a number of chances.
Garden they drew with.
Yeah, that's what it was. Sorry, you're right. So yeah, no. So yeah, that was the match that I was referring to. So yeah, no, your thoughts on that there, Luke. Obviously they're heading out to Norway. And obviously Molde have struggled so far. They've only a point on the board as well. So yeah, your thoughts, Luke?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one for them because Molde they're a good side. Like, they've brought through good players throughout the years, and I think one of their most recent players that they've brought through is your man Haaland now, and he's obviously probably he's incredible, you know what I mean? He's just unbelievable, and you see like him coming through there I think he came through the academy there at Molde, I think because obviously the Norwegian club and that. Look, it'll be a tough game, and they will have good players, and Rovers did a great win the other night. They'll be absolutely over the moon with that. They'll be bouncing into this one. I'd say it was a good week of training, or a good few days of training they had, and going into this one, obviously they don't play till Thursday. It is only Tuesday, so they'll obviously train there in the stadium tomorrow in Molde, and look, it's another experience for them. That's what these sort of games are. Look, obviously some of the games are obviously they are winnable or whatever, but it's just an experience for Rovers and a lot of them players who wouldn't be used to that sort of thing. So it's brilliant for them, and obviously the management as well. It's a brilliant thing that they're in the Conference League. It's brilliant for the league, as we've said so many times. So look, they'll just want to go into it and make a good account of themselves. And I think the thing they've got to do is just not give away any silly goals. You know what I mean? They tend to giving away the silly goals, sloppy goals away from home in Europe, which has sort of killed them this season in Europe. When you look at, I think it was in one of the qualifiers as well before that, I think it was Louis, they gave away 2 sloppy goals, and then obviously against the last crowd they played there in Belgium, they were obviously gave away a really poor goal. I think Cleary as well was poor that game. So look, they'll just want knock one out. They want to go in, make a good account of themselves. Don't give away any silly goals. Give yourself a chance in the game, and anything can happen from there. But yeah, it will be a tough game for them,
Yeah, so it'll be the first time they play Molde, and then obviously they have the next match after then is the 13th, and that's in Tala. So it'll be a test of them. They haven't played them before. So it'll be interesting to see. Hopefully, worse than the best. JP, any thoughts on that?
Aye, like the thing is this they'll be looking to go out there, give a good account of themselves, and obviously they'll not want to lose the game. Because with Ghent and Drogheda playing one another, the winner if somebody can pick up anything in this game, it puts them right back into the group, because one of those two teams, if not both of them, are going to drop points. So obviously, second place gets you Europe after Christmas. So that'll be the aim, is to be still in the group going into the next game in Hala, because they play Molde then as well. So they look to go out, give them good account of themselves, and hopefully they can cut out the mistakes that they have suffered in previous away matches in Europe this season, as Luke has already touched upon. And yeah, look, Molde, we know they've a few years ago they came to Glenavon up north, and they lost their away leg here. So, and I think they played Sligo too, and I think Sligo lost to them. But look, Shamrock Rovers team are better, can get results in Europe, and we've seen that already this season. And look, there's no reason why they can't go out there and get something.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, no, hopefully wish the best to them anyway, and that match is on Thursday. So yeah, no, hopefully a positive result. And as you mentioned, JP, it's a good opportunity to catch some ground on Jer Gardens and Ghent. You know, obviously because it's an open group, really. You know, with every team is kind of dropped at least 2 points so far. So yeah, no, hopefully the best. So yeah, now we'll move on to Premier Division matches for the upcoming weekend, game week 32, and we kick off with the meeting of Dundalk and St. Pat's at Oriel Park. Obviously, last time out the two teams faced was a 1-1 draw in NG Core. Dundalk with that fortress really at Casey's Field or Oriel Park, and this year, like, you know, they've 5 losses I think in the season, and you know they haven't lost a match in Oriel. So yeah, do you think that run will continue on Friday night, Luke?
Yeah, I do, to be honest. I think look, Pats will obviously, they'll be disappointed with the last 2 games. Obviously results wise, you know, I don't think they'll be too disappointed with their performance on Friday against Derry. I think they had chances in the game. You know, they have a better execution and they probably would have got a different result, but they'll be really disappointed obviously with last night. They'll try and put that in the back of the mind, because they've got a very, very tough task now, and going to Casey's Field, as you mentioned, like, it's, you know, it is a real fortress there. And like the game for Drogheda against Dundalk the other night, like, I thought Drogheda started the game quite well, and they had 2 great chances to, you know, be 2-0 up really, and it didn't take them, and then it gives Dundalk then a sniff, and once you give that Dundalk team a bit of a sniff, then they tend to, like, you know, take that, so, in which they did. So I expect them they might not win the game, but I don't see them losing here again, and they're just at home. They just seem to be a bit of a different animal really, and you know, they're going to be really confident going into this game, especially after a win in the derby, you know, on Friday. So they'll have had rest. Pats are, you know, going to be obviously still quite tired from the fact that they played Friday, Monday, and they're going to play Friday again, but they'll want to be playing in these sort of games. It's a huge game for St. Pat's, and if Pats can get a win here, then it's going to obviously break Dundalk's record, and once again, you know, they'll be really, really in there for an automatic European spot, but they've got to do the business, and it is going to be a tough game, but Dundalk are also going to be confident. So no, it's set to be a really interesting game, this one.
Yeah, that's it. And JP, it's an important game in the race for Europe, as Lucas mentioned. Also, if Dundalk were to win, it'll be 7 points between the two teams, you know, 3rd and 4th, and also we know about that cup place. You know, if for example, if Derry were to win the cup, you know, does that rule still apply, that, you know, the 4th still gets Europe by? So, you know, we still have that there. You know, hopefully Pats will be hoping for Derry to win the cup in that way. But I think it's a big important match, like, you know, considering there could be 7 points if Dundalk were to win. Yeah, who do you think will win this one?
Well, if Dundalk won this game, that's it. That's 3rd place, signed, sealed, and delivered. From my point of view, some Pats have to go out and have to win this game. Last night was a big killer for them. If they'd won that last night, then they could have maybe afforded a draw in this game. but the fact that if they only draw this, they're 4 behind with 4 games left, which means that they need Dundalk to slip up twice in 4 games, and they have to win twice. So it's difficult right now. They're 5 games, and they can make them slip up on one of them by beating them, and then that means then the other 4 games then that if they don't slip up, then they could potentially overtake them. But I can't see Dundalk's record going in this game. I really can't. Some Pats were in good form, and the last 2 games kind of. But one thing is they've got Chris Forster back for this, which could be key for them. They might not be as open as they were last night, and they might create a wee bit more stable midfield. But I wouldn't put my money on it, to be honest with you. But a huge match, more for Pats than Dundalk. But Dundalk will be going all out absolutely for the 3 points, because they'll know that 7 points with 4 games to go, for that to be overturned will take an almighty collapse.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's a big game in the European running. Yeah, we'll move on to the match between Drogheda and Bohs. You could possibly say it's a mid-table clash. Both teams kind of, Bohs are 10 points off. 4th place is in Pats, so you could probably say it's a kind of a game with no kind of real meaning to it. But both teams will be looking to try and get as high up the table as they can. Obviously, Drogheda sitting in 8th place, 31 points, only 5 points off Shelbourne in 7th. So it'll be for your beloved Drogheda, Luke. Bohs have picked up a bit of form for. I think they've won 2 in the last 2, which isn't you wouldn't really associate that with the Bohs this year, considering all the inconsistencies. But they've won the last 2, or Drogheda they haven't won in 4. So Luke, are you hopeful?
Yeah, hopefully. Look, it's. I think we need a better performance than we've seen in the last couple of weeks. Really, I just don't think it's been great. I think it's you sort of get that bit of a, not stale. It's towards the end of a season when you're sort of nothing really left to play for. You're more or less safe. I think we only need a couple of more points to be safe automatically. But look, you want to just put a bit more into these games. This is a game for Drogheda that can get an opportunity to write off safety, like if they can win here, and that would do it, like, you know what I mean, pretty much. I don't think there'd be much points in it left then to play for the bottom 2 teams to get even near Drogheda. So look, it's a big game for Drogheda to just get a result, and if they can get a result, then I'd be happy. But look, it's need a better performance. Bohs look 2 wins in their last 2, obviously against Footy and Harps. So look, they'll be confident. They'll feel like they can win this game, and they'll obviously be going for the 3 points. But look, Drogheda, I just want to obviously see a bit more of a better performance. To not give away 2 sloppy goals like we did last week, which the 2 goals we did give away were quite sloppy. So look, hopefully we can put in a better performance and hopefully get a result, because obviously we're going to be without Ryan Brennan, who's suspended as well, which is a loss definitely. So look, there's still some really good players there, and hopefully they can just pull it together for the last couple of games and get a few results on the board.
And with Bohs, JP, obviously, as I mentioned already, they're 10 points off St. Pat's, and they've a tough enough running as they play Dundalk, and they play Pats actually, and play Sligo, I think, as well. So do you reckon there's any chance that they could tip Pats in 4th?
No. I said earlier that if Dundalk was to beat Pats, it would take an almighty collapse for Pats to overtake them. And I think for even at this stage, for Bohs to overtake Pats, it's going to take an almighty collapse from Pats. But not only that, it's going to take an almighty run that we have not seen from Bohs all season, and it's not going to happen between now and the end of the season. Then they're 10 points behind, 15 up for grabs. Realistically, they probably have to win all 5. And you mentioned the fixtures they have. They haven't played well enough all season to be able to win all 5 of them fixtures. For both teams, they will try and, like, Drogheda have lost their last 3 without scoring. So they'll want to put that right. They'll want to put on, as Luke said, put on a performance, because neither side although they're probably not going to finish any higher than what they are, they'll not want their season just they pander out and just fade away. Both are out of the cup, like, so they're both going to be playing in the Premier Division next year, but at the same time they'll want to finish the season with a wee bit of momentum as well. And Bows have gathered a wee bit of momentum. They've won their last two. Drogheda will want to put an end to that and maybe get a few more points on the board, because I think Drogheda winning Friday night, they're guaranteed safety. I know we've said for a few months now that, but it's never as a fan that's in that situation, even a player or part of the coaching team. It's just whenever you see them points on the board that confirms that you're safe rather than hearsay. So, as I say, the neither side will want their season just they fade away. They especially Drogheda, like, they maybe have one eye on probably trying to catch Shelbourne, who do have Derry and Rovers in their last 5 games. So huge opportunity there for Drogheda. They put a wee run together and maybe finish in 7th place.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, it'll be. I can't see it myself. Bows considering all the inconsistencies, so it would just be such a Bows thing to win the last 2 and then go on a losing run. And no offense to any Bows fans, but that's just the way it is, But we'll move on to the cracking Northwest Derby and the Brandywell on Friday night. It's between Derry and Fun Harps. Possibly the last Northwest Derby for a season or two. Well, hopefully not. We'll just be real with it. But
to bring back the League Cup, that's likely to.
That's possibly, but obviously Harps getting the point the last time out after losing 3 in the bounce against Shelbourne, which wasn't a bad point, and it brings them ahead of UCD on goal difference. As JP mentioned in the show last week, review show, that that goal difference is important. 8 goals, Harps are the better. So with Derry, they're flying. And there's nothing stopping them at the minute. I think it's the worst time to play Derry. Obviously 5 points behind Shamrock Rovers, and they're pushing. If Shamrock Rovers were to drop points, I'm sure Derry would be more than happy to capitalise on that there. We'll go to you first, Jamie, with this one. I suspect you can't see anything less than a Derry win here, considering the form. But with that Derby, the Derby feel to it, anything can happen. And also we know ourselves down through the years that Harps tend to pick up a point at least. In matches with Derry, they seem to put on a bit of a performance.
Well, ever since Ollie Horgan's been in charge, there hasn't been anything less in a derby. Like, I know there's probably been a couple of drubbings that we've given you, but there was one, I remember, there was a 5-0 from Park a few years ago in the middle of the season, but just everything Derry hit that night just turned to gold. And then there was another one, I think, but I think Goose had the playoff because it was the last game of the season and you were heading to Limerick on Monday for the playoff. There was that. And then I think we're maybe in another one the same season where Kieran Harkin got a hat-trick. So I think every kind of game since Ali Horgan has brought Finn Harps up, it's always been tight. Even the League Cup games, there's only ever been maybe 1 or 2 goals in it, like in either way, and plenty of draws. It's definitely in the last 6-7 years, definitely the most competitive I've ever seen the derbies. And this one's going to be no different. Even at the Brandywell, no doubt they're in good form. We've won our last 5, I think, in the league. We've won 7 overall. But look, Finn Harps, they have a wee bit of rejuvenation about them last week because we watched the highlights and we saw what we hadn't seen in weeks before that they were putting their bodies on the line. They were fighting for one another and they really put it up to Shelburne. And they'd have been disappointed they come away with a defeat if they'd lost that game, especially after taking the lead. And they're probably disappointed that they didn't win the game because they conceded so quickly after taking the lead. But what we saw against Shelburne is that they're still a wee bit susceptible. They passing up easy chances. And if they provide Derry with the chances that they provided Shelburne, I can only see one winner. But as I say, and I said it last week too, it all depends on what Finn Harps show up and it really is. And every game that they play. It all depends on what Finn Harps shows up, because if they get the Finn Harps that showed up against Shelburne, they're a hard team to beat no matter what the venue is. Or if you get the Finn Harps that showed up against Shamrock Rovers a couple of weeks ago, it could be over by half time as well. You know what I'm saying? So what Finn Harps will want to do is they'll obviously want to go out and win the game. They'll not want to lose it. But what they won't want to do if they do lose it is get a hiding, and because as touched on there, their goal difference is +8 over UCD. They'll not want that to be shrunk as Friday, especially if they lose. And because I think UCD are home to Sligo, aren't they?
Yeah.
And UCD have had the upper hand in all 3 games over Sligo this year. I think they've taken 7 points off them. So that's no foregone conclusion either for Sligo in that game. But no, I'm really looking forward to this one. The city's buzzing. We're semi-final cup the following week. We've finished 7 wins in a row, 5 in the league. It's a sellout. The home end has been sold out from away last week, so everyone's really looking forward to this.
Yeah, no, it sets up to be a big match, and I know a few of the Harps boys have a wee display planned and all too, so that'll be interesting. Making a wee effort, so they are, but hopefully Harps then will sell out as well. There still is a few tickets available or whatever, so hopefully that'll add to the atmosphere. Luke, your thoughts on the game itself? I'll say it's tit for tat really now with Harps and UTD, as you mentioned already. Drogheda, no one's going to catch them really. So it's basically it's that dogfight now. He's just going to run out for the last 5 games of the season. It's obviously team like Harps are going to try and pick up a few points, but UTD are doing well themselves. They're more than capable of picking up points as well. So your thoughts? Do you think Harps will get anything out of the match at all, or?
I think it's going to be tough. You look, Derry are in a position now where they don't want to drop any more points between now and the end of the season. They're not going to want to give Rovers look. They want to just keep pushing at Rovers and keep niggling away at them. And if the thing is now as well, with Rovers being in Europe now for the next couple of weeks, because obviously they've got to get them games finished before World Cup kicks off. They're going to be playing whatever games are left. They're most likely going to be playing most of their games on a Sunday. Derry are going to be playing most of their games now on a Friday. You know what I mean? So they're going to have that sort of look. It's a psychological thing. You know what I mean? Rovers might actually relish off that, or they might crumble under it. It's a very tough thing to say. But with Derry playing first, if they can keep winning their games, then it will cause Rovers a bit of unease, because they'll be coming back and there'll be a lack of recovery, and it's straight into it again. Then you know what I mean. So, I think Rovers fixtures, obviously they do have probably a favourable fixture list, but look, you know what I mean, there's no easy game in this league. So look, Derry will just want to go in, do the business, 3 points, and keep moving forward, because they've done really, really well in the last couple of weeks. And it's gonna, if they don't, obviously, which it is still gonna be tough to win the league, but if they don't, and if they'll be really confident going in then to next season, and building on that. But a cup final is well within their reach as well, and a cup win is within their reach as well. So it's an exciting end of the season if you're a Derry City fan, and I'm sure JP is relishing in it as well, and I'm sure he's looking forward to the next couple of weeks, because there's definitely some excitement around it.
Yeah. Let's hope the treaty come up, and right we upset there. It'd be great to see what but I can't see it. But anyway, we'll see what happens. But I know it's definitely, I think it boils down to the match, the matches during the season where Derry went 7 games out of one night. It is a bit scary, to be honest.
It is, yeah.
Rovers went 10 in a row. They went 1-10 in a row as well. So
they are. So
it's
even to self out. I think next year it's going to be I think it's going to be a very, very interesting race. But yeah, now we'll move on to the second last match. Which is between, as JP mentioned, it's UCD and Sligo. Obviously they've taken points. UCD have taken points off Sligo this year. Sligo, obviously, as we mentioned, with the appeal and so on, with the match against Dundalk, feeling the ineligible player, they sit in 6th place now, and they're 41 points, and they're just obviously 10 points or 11 points off Pat. So they're kind of consolidating mid-table, really. I can't see them getting any higher, although they're in a battle between themselves and Bows for 5th or 6th place, with Shelbourne breathing down their neck, where they're 5 points behind them. But Yeah, look, as we mentioned, UCD can pick up points off anyone really. They've taken points off like Harps, definitely. They've taken so many points off Harps. It's been not been good enough for Harps. But do you think UCD will be up for this year? I'm sure they'll be up for it. But do you think they'll have a chance of picking up a few points? You know, on Friday night with with the game being at home as well, probably possibly an advantage.
Yeah, no, I can see them getting a result here. To be honest, I can see them definitely getting a result. Look, it's going to be obviously tough. Sligo are still a decent side, but if you look at the games UCD has played against Sligo this season, Sligo UCD have done really well in, and they probably could have won every game they played against them. If a bit of a swinger thing kind of went their way or whatever, but they did get a great win against them in the showgrounds. I think it was the last time they played them. Which was brilliant, and it was a brilliant result for them. But look, UCD will be confident. They've still got quality players at the top of the pitch and in the middle of the pitch, and obviously, they've still got that potential there to finish off the season well, and hopefully they can. Obviously, for them, they'd want to stay up, but it'll be obviously it's going to be tough to do. Obviously, that as well. So it really is. It's a dogfight between UCD and Harps. It's brilliant to see. It's well, obviously not for yourself, Bush, but it's brilliant to see the fact that we've got a bit of a fight and at the bottom, and a bit of a fight as well at the top. You know what I mean? Coming towards the end of the season, we don't have anyone relegated before then, or winning the league already. So it's good that we still have a bit of a dogfight going on, and it's good to see. So the next couple of games will be interesting. But yeah, it's a big opportunity for UCD because Sligo, our team, are definitely there for the taking if they can get an early goal or whatever. So yeah, it's a big game for UCD.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely. No, I know where you're coming from. It's obviously it's good for the greatness of the league. Where you have fights going on through Europe.
Oh, I'm glad I'm not in it, to be honest.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly, and even in the bottom. But yeah, JP, as you mentioned, obviously Sligo taking or UCD have taken
5, I think it is. I was draw. I think
they got a draw and they got a win, and
two draws and a one.
So they've done fairly well against Sligo. As Lucas said already, he fancies them to get something from the match. What about yourself?
So do I. I think they'll get something from them. It's at the Belfast Bowl.
Yeah.
As Lucas touched on it, they could have won all 3 games already this season against Sligo. I know they went 2-1 up in the showgrounds and conceded late on. I think the last game maybe at the Bowl finished 0-0 or something like that there. And then they went and they won 1-0 at the showgrounds earlier in the season. So they've had the upper hand definitely on Sligo. Sligo, I think their season is about trying to finish above Bohemians now. And like they say, their season practically ended when they got knocked out of the cup by Wexford, even though they were still in Europe, but it didn't envisage them going further than what they did. And UCD, their season's very much still alive of trying to secure a playoff place, and no doubt that they'll be going out on Friday. They'll obviously know that Finn Harps will be playing Derry, but they'll have to go into this game with the mindset that Finn Harps are going to get something. It's what's going to have to happen between now and the end of the season with these two teams. Is no matter who won and no matter who the other team's playing, they're going to have to concentrate on themselves. And I think UCD can do that. They're very good at turning the ball over, and when they do turn it over, they're very quick on the counter attack. I've seen it a few times against Derry this year. They can cause problems. But when you look at UCD, they've 19 points. They've took 7 off Finn Harps, and they've took 5 off Sligo. So there's 12 of their 19 just against 2 teams, which is incredible. They're probably thinking, well, if we could have got an extra couple of points here off this team, where, you know what I mean? But Finn Harps, you have to give them credit as well. They've taken, I think, 7 off Shelburne as well. So it's all swings and roundabouts, and fair play to 2 teams because they're making it an absolute, and they're making it exciting for a neutral. You know what I mean? Like I know for you guys, you're probably picking up a win one week and think, oh, happy days. And then the next weekend you're losing and they're winning, and it's back. You know what I mean? So I think the last 2 seasons at this stage, the team that's at the bottom has already been near enough confirmed to be relegated, and Rovers were very much confirmed they've won the league, as Luke touched upon. It's nice they have races all exciting at the top and the bottom, and if St. Pat's can win on Friday night, it would make that race for third place interesting as well. So,
Yeah.
And not only that, Harps and UCD play 1-1 second last weekend of the season, so both will want to be going into that game very much with a chance of putting daylight between themselves and the other team. So I think UCD will get something from this. I really do. As I know, I predicted them they won last week and they got bit 2-0, but I think they'll get at least a point out of this one.
Very good, fair enough. Hopefully not for Harps. But yeah, move on to the last match, which is on the Sunday. Obviously, Shamrock Rovers we mentioned playing in Europe on the Thursday, so they face Shelbourne and Tala on Sunday at 5 o'clock. That game's on RTE actually. With so head to head so far this year, Shamrock Rovers having 2 wins and then the draw there recently at the end of September. Shamrock Rovers, it comes into the game, the tiredness. Coming from the Thursday, Sunday, and the likes. Do you think they'll come into it, Luke? Or can you? Do you think they'll still do enough to get the 3 points? Obviously, as we mentioned with Derry breathing down their necks.
Yeah, I think they'll do enough, to be honest, in this game. I think they'll just want to go into Thursday and obviously come out with Thursday rather unscathed with injuries. No injuries would be great for them. If they could have that behind them, that they'd be obviously happy, and obviously look, there will be players who'll be tired, but they've got a few days they can obviously get back into the country and that, and then obviously it won't be much training. They'll probably be training a little bit on Saturday and then they'll be straight into a game on Sunday. So look, it's the sort of games they wanted to be involved in. It's coming towards the end of the season, playing nearly twice every week, like they wanted that, so they have it. So they need to to do the business, and they need to get 3 points, and they need to keep winning games, and if they're going to win the league. So if they can do that now between now and the end of the season, they'll win it, the league comfortably in the end. But they've still got a tough task ahead of them. Shells are still a good side. Shells now are going to be looking at this one as well. They're still going to have one eye on the cup, I reckon, because they play next Sunday in the cup against Waterford, obviously. So look, they're going to still have one eye on that, and being 90 minutes away from the Aviva Stadium, they'll be dreaming, like. So their minds might be elsewhere, but look, they're a professional side. They'll go in and they'll play the game and see where it takes them. But I can only see really 3 points here for Shamrock Rovers. But like, saying that, it could go either way, and I think it will. It'll be a good game, to be honest. But Rovers just need to get 3 points, no matter how they do it. They won't be looking to, obviously they'll want to play well, but if they don't play well and they get 3 points, they won't be complaining.
Yeah, that's it, JP, and you'll be happy. You'll be hopeful, really, for Shells to pick up a point here, or even 3 points, I'm sure. But what way do you go? What way do you see it going?
I think that wee money break at Rovers had last week when they played UCD on the Monday, and then they didn't play the Saturday again. I think that probably going to be enough for them for they refresh themselves for the running, to be honest with you. Like, Norway's not 100 miles away, like it's not a million miles away. Like, it's not like they have to go across the other side of Europe. They play this game, so they'll be back in I know they had a fly from Shannon, so, but I'm sure they'll be back in Dublin on Friday and recover Saturday and go again Sunday. I think Shelburne will give them a good game, but I think Rovers will probably win this game. I think it could all boil down as well to how much pressure's actually on them going into this game, Osh. Because if Derry pick up the win on Friday night and cuts the gap by 2 points again, puts a wee bit of pressure on Rovers going into this, and as Luke has already touched upon, it depends where Shelbourne's heads are at as well, because they obviously will have one eye on the Waterford game, but that's the following Sunday, so they'll have a full 7 days rest for that. But at the same time, players will be thinking, if I get injured here, I might miss next week, or if I get a red card, I'll not be able to play, etc. So, as I say, I think that money break last week's probably done Shamrock Rovers a world of good, and it's probably going to give them the edge between now and the end of the season where they had that cushion, and the wee money break's going to help them maintain that cushion.
Yeah, that's it. I know that it's set to be a very exciting weekend. Obviously with us matching on our team, sure there'll be plenty of Derry fans keeping an eye out and hoping that Shels will come up with a result. But that's basically it, lads. Cheers for your contribution. Yeah, leave your predictions in the comments. Obviously Keith's away sunning himself for the week, so we're just
lucky man.
A lucky man is right, so we'll be back at the weekend with the review show, possibly Sunday, or just to probably get out Monday possibly, and just to review the matches. So it's all to play for, and again, we mentioned best of luck to Shamrock Rovers in Europe. It's good to have an Irish team regardless of who you support. But yeah, no, definitely leave your predictions in the comments and give us the score lines, whatever, and see, just give us your thoughts. And yeah, be sure to leave a like in the video and then subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And yeah, thanks lads.
Thank you.
Cheers lads.
Cheers, thanks for watching.